Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, so let it give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to my teachers, the head apostle, elders of Great Millstone, and the Kazakh Shalom to the hopeful elect. This lesson is inspired by this post, you know what I'm saying? Not being OR, because it's kind of funny, but point being, it inspired the lesson. We're going to use it as a point to edify. It's calling the Most High to make sure I'm signed up for the Blessed Not Stress package in 2026. Well, I'm here to rain here to rain on the proverbial parade because we're not going to get any type of reprieve, any type of justice, any type of freedom until the kingdom is established. This is a little list, and the rest we're gonna go through the spirit. Lord willing, this is edifying. This is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 2, verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. And that includes the women, but, according to the order, the men are addressed first. It says, set their heart aright. Their heart, in the Hebrew, is lab, your mind. And constantly endure. So get your mind right and prepare for struggles and heartaches. And make not haste in time of trouble. Right? We're supposed to have faith. The hour of temptation is coming, and this is the mindset that we have to be equipped with. Yeah, it's going to be days where we haven't eaten. We're going to be ostracized from society for not taking the MOTB and face persecution via the guillotine. And any other way Esau decides to come down on us. But we are going to set our mind aright by focusing on Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. It's Isaiah 48:10. It says, behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. Let's read that in the NLT, and I'll expound it a little bit more. Isaiah 48:10. I have refined you, but not as silver is refined. So let's go into that word refine. With impurities or unwanted elements having been removed by process and by heat. So going back to that Sirach 2. Sirach 2:3. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when are changed to a lower state. And that's the essence of patience, which is long suffering. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. So gold is tried. Gold has impurities removed from being in the fire, from the raw product that you get when you dig it out the ground to, the finished product where you see in the mall or in a grill or on a chain or something like that. To get from point A to point B, there has to be some heat in between, extreme heat. So same thing here in Isaiah 48:10. It says, behold, I refine thee, or remove the impurities from you, but not with silver. Verse 10 in the NLT, but not as silver is refined. Rather, I refine you in the furnace of suffering. So we know that this is pleasing to the Heavenly Father. Precept upon precept, line upon line. Hebrews 12:7, 6. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and the chasten means to whip or correct. Let's get this. Hebrews 12:6 is for whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. And the NLT breaks it down. So for the disciples, for the disciplines, those he loves and he punishes. For the Lord disciplines those he loves and he punishes each one he accepts as his child. So the example we use, amongst the brethren, It's like we had kids over the house, right? Your nieces and nephews playing with your sons and daughters. Like the ass whooping your sons and daughters gonna get is gonna be different from the ones your nieces and nephews get, because you my kids and you know better. The same thing with us and Heavenly Father. And this is what bearing your cross consists of. Bearing the indignation of the Lord, knowing that we're going through these things because we broke the contractual agreement we had between us and the Lord to keep his law, statutes, and commandments. Verse 7, if ye endure chastening, the Most High deal with you as with sons. So, yeah, the meme is funny. It's funny. But we understand that this suffering is not in vain, and it is a sign, first and foremost, that we are, in fact, dealing with the curses. Because what makes, some jokes funny is how true they are. We're all experiencing economic woes. Here in Northeast Ohio, we see the Cleveland Remembrance page doing numbers. And we understand that this results of judgment, different judgment from the Lord. So Hebrews 12:7 again, if ye endure chastening, the Most High dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? And that's plain. Just gave the examples. The kids come over and breaking shit, you're going to get corrected. If you're being unruly or out of order, you're doing things contrary to what you've been taught, you're going to be corrected. That's the same way the Father is coming down on us with these different adversities, these different situations. And also allowing us to exercise our faith, our wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and our discernment. Verse 8, but if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then ye are bastards and not sons. So verse 8 in the NLT, if the Most High doesn't discipline you as he does all of his children, it means that you are illegitimate and are not really his children at all. A couple precepts from Deuteronomy 28. We're not going to escape this. Back to the basics. It always goes down to the curses. So I'm going to bounce around with Deuteronomy 28 till the point is made. And then I'm going to explain how Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, is going to redeem us from those curses. So Deuteronomy 28:1, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that Yahweh thy power will set thee on high above all the nations of the earth. And I go into it all the time in my lessons, and I mention it, even when the camera's off. That Deuteronomy 4:6 links up with this. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power. So we're here to about 15 to describe what would have happened if we would have kept the commandments. But ultimately, we weren't meant to do that. The Lord made the creature subject to vanity. Yahweh Bashem Yahshua is a power of balance. So the things we're going through now are going to make us righteous judges and make us appreciate the kingdom of heaven and righteousness so much more. We're going to be able to discern the greatest matters to the smallest matters. But point being, jump down to Deuteronomy 28:15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, and they didn't. The different accounts in the book of Judges, all throughout history, the different idols and gods Israel served as going against the commandments. Via the precepts, that's breaking of the law. Transgression of the law is sin. So that's the same thing as not hearkening to the voice of Yahweh thy power, sinning. So Deuteronomy 28:15 from the top, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Jump down and read this on your own. Type up GMS Deuteronomy 28 to get the full understanding. It's just a brief overview. I wanted to touch on a couple. This is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 45. It says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee. So when something pursues you, it's actively chasing you. So with us, it's not like a geographical thing. It's a spiritual thing, because most of Israel, the northern and the southern kingdom, are here in the Americas dealing with the curses, but it doesn't matter where you are. If your seed line or your heritage goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you're going to experience the curse no matter where you are. And we're scattered amongst all nations, so it doesn't matter if you are Jake and you look like, an Ammonite. You're going to be experiencing the curses. If you are somewhere in Hawaii or you're a Somalian, what's them called? Samoan, rather. If your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, guess what? You're experiencing the curses over there as well. So they shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh thy power to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And this is why we are dealing with these things now, because we did not listen as a people. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So it's going to be for a very long time until the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai redeems us from these curses and wipe the tears away from our eyes. We're going to receive new bodies. The law, statutes, commandments are going to be implanted in us. But they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder. So when you are looking at a sign is an indicator of where and what something is. So you see the golden arches, that is a sign that you're about to enter to a McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? You see, you get the example. You see the swoosh, that's Nike. Same thing, when you see Jake in the ghettos, we the top 3 for all the worst shit for cancer, heart disease, all that other stuff. It's so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are primarily affected by these things. It says, verse 47, because thou servest not the Lord thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. And 48, I'll keep reading because this is a good one. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee. And we know who our enemies are, pursuing the Psalms, the 83rd chapter. Our chief enemy being Esau, Edom. The Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. Right? Who is at these corner stores? And they know Jake's struggling. They got everything in there, from antifreeze to motherfucking Cocoa Puffs, because they know that's all Jake can afford. Save-A-Lots, all in the hood, rotten fucking meat. Hamites, Ishmaelites, Elamites, Edomites, all profiting off of Jake. Moab and Ammon, and Elam, selling Eve that crusty ass weave. The Israelite dollar is circling through all these different nations' communities, and it don't even circle back in our community. What I mean is, these different nations, especially the small hats, they support each other's businesses, money flow back and forth between them. We're the biggest consumers, but guess what? We put money into a bag with holes in it. This society as a whole, especially here in America, is thriving because of Jake. Because Jake being subject to the curses. Continuing on, and in nakedness, so we get our clothes from our oppressors, and in want of all things, we need food, water. Shit, we gotta pay for the water bill. So even if we don't go to the store, the shit that's coming out your faucet, guess what? You paying Esau. Esau put a yoke of iron upon their neck until he had destroyed thee. So there was a physical yoke upon our neck. Now we have those paper yokes. We got the Social Security and those different paperworks associated with our name. This is another form of bondage. This is modern day slavery. Now it's wage slavery. Now I want to jump down to the last couple of verses because this one we always used to go into. I read from 65 to the end of the chapter, Deuteronomy 28:65. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. Right, we're going to work, like it says in Genesis, when Adam was all by the sweat of thy brow. Until Yahweh Shai redeems us, these are the things we're going to have to go through. So anybody that tells you otherwise, like Jacob's trouble ain't real, or they tell you that it's not that bad, and people tell you to take the C-hip or take the jab and tell you things that, ultimately give you false hope. They going off. Continue on to 65, but the Lord shall give thee their trembling heart and failing eyes and sorrow of mind. And it's going to expound on it more in the next verse. It says, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee. Right, we have our own people oppressing us. The northern and southern kingdom was beefing for a long time. Still is. You go to certain Jake neighborhoods, like we go on the west side, we got a potential to be looked at funny. You know what I'm saying? Chicago is real bad. Jake against Jake. Everybody think they a nigga, but they don't realize like it's Gadites, Benjamites, Reubenites, all types of Jake mixed in. And it's tension and it's beef. You can't even go to a certain street without fear of getting shot from a nigga who look just like you. Half Jake don't know they damn dad. It could be your literal relative, not just, your brother through the spirit. But I digress. Salaki for the ramble. With the Lord shall give thee their trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. Right, we get behind the wheel, we see them lights, we get nervous, because it literally could be our last time on this earth. And all Esau gonna do is switch departments, or he on the beat for a minute. He writing traffic tickets, but he still got his job, and we whole ass dead. It's just one example, but death lurking around every corner. This is why we know those songs are prophetic. We are in the valley of the shadow of death here in America. Verse 67, in the morning thou shalt say, would God it were even, and at even thou shalt say, would God it were morning. I'll read that in NLT. It says, in the morning you will say, if only it were night, and in the evening you will say, if only it were morning. Right, because Jake, without even referencing the scriptures, keep referencing the scriptures, because what did Jake say, especially older Jake? Life's a bitch and then you die. And then you work all this time, and people say it. They say it pessimistic, like they had no hope. You're going to work, and finally retire. I'm going to chill my grandkids. I'm going to sit on the porch and sip my lemonade, and I'm going to wait to be brought on home. It's literally damn if I do, damn if I don't, man. These sayings, these proverbs are a result of the curses. Continuing on in verse 67 in the KJV, it says, for the fear of thy heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. And verse 68 is the point that I wanted to touch on, because we link this with the transatlantic slavery. And another way we identify with the curses. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Now, Egypt, we know, back to the basics, is spiritually America. Egypt is synonymous with bondage. It's Exodus 20:2 to back that up. It says, and start at 1. And the Most High spake all these words, saying, I am Yahweh thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. So we know precept upon precept, line upon line, Egypt is synonymous with bondage. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt, or into bondage again with ships. And who did that happen to? That happened to the Israelites. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. You will not see your homeland again until we're redeemed from these curses. And there, where? In America, ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. And nobody's going to redeem us. Nobody's going to be able to save us from the curses. So when you go into the prophecy about the 3.5 or the 350-year period, as a fulfillment of this, and guess what? We are still in captivity. Represent the book of Baruch. We are still yet this day in our captivity. So all these jokes about, making sure you sign up for the blessed and not stress package and take me off the Most High strongest soldiers list, it's all fun and games. It's cute because you want views and you want laughs in the comments like he. But y'all relate to it on a spiritual level, because if you are Jake, compared to all these other nations who are just now getting a taste of what we've been going through, you've been catching fucking hell. Catching hell. But guess what? The Lord is going to wipe away all tears. Get a couple scriptures on Yahweh being our Redeemer. In Proverbs 23:11. For their Redeemer is mighty. He shall plead their cause with thee. Yeah, our Redeemer is Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. Verse 41, Salaki, Isaiah 41:14. Fear not, thou worm Jacob. A worm is a defenseless animal, and Jacob is interchangeable with Israel. So fear not, thou worm Jacob. Fear not the children of the Heavenly Father, Israel. Another defenseless animal we compare to our sheep. And ye men of Israel, I will help thee, saith the Lord, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Another one. These are all good ones. Isaiah 47:4. As for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. The Lord in all capitals, that is Yahweh. And guess what? He's going to send his son Yahweh Shai and the host of angels to come through and deliver us while simultaneously destroying America and cleansing the Holy Land of those gutter rats. Isaiah 54:5. For thy maker is thine husband. Who's our maker? The Heavenly Father. The Lord of hosts is his name. Again, the Lord in all caps like that is Yahweh. And thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. The power of the whole earth shall he be called. In Revelation 2, I believe. Revelation 7:17. For the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, and that Lamb is Yahweh Shai, and capital L, and shall lead them unto living fountains of waters, and the Heavenly Father shall wipe all tears away from their eyes. So When we're done serving this captivity, we'll finally have rest. We're going to receive that government that is rested upon the shoulders, prophesied in Isaiah, the 9th chapter.
Shit.
We're going to have the law, statutes, commandments planted in us. We're going to teach the heathens the way of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. We're ultimately going to have peace. We're going to receive their riches. We're going to get the riches of the Gentiles. Isaiah 60. And Isaiah, the 2nd chapter, lets us know that we will be elites. We will be the premier nation. We will be the top dog. Under Yahushua, King David, the 12, within our respective ranks and orders. But this is what we're looking forward to. This is when we'll get our rest, the kingdom of heaven. Revelation 21:4, and the Heavenly Father shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. Tears as a result of what? Hardcore bondage. Just a few of the curses I read. That's what he'll be wiping the tears away from. Overcome the beast in this system and the image of the beast. That's why he'll be wiping away our tears. It says, and the Heavenly Father shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. So this is what we have to look forward to. Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, B'Shem Racha HaKodash, Nathan Danawa HaRacha, La Yakal L'Kwatazah. I ask the Lord to give us the spirit to endure unto the end. So, Aparatazah, this was an edifying lesson. And until next time, a Kazak Shalom to the hopeful elect. No. Yeah, I'm coming in there. I'm uploading this lesson I just did.